This is AI.R. Artists in Residence Broadcasting, coming to you once a week from New York City.
Good evening. My name is Emily Frankel, and I'm doing a talking post for my blog, M's Talkery. The subject that's on my mind is heroines. I've done quite a few posts on my blog about heroes. So I'm wondering, what about heroines? Who is a good heroine for girl? Well, I wrote a very big book, and a big book requires a lot of thinking and a lot of research. The name of the book is Somebody. In fact, you can read it on my website, The Readery. Originally, Somebody was called Woman of the Century, and I was trying to capture what I knew about the 20th century and the women of the 20th century who affected the century. And I discovered while I was making a list of names before I began actually writing, that a lot of the names that were important to me were names that were important to my mother. And my mother was early 20th century and a little bit before. I never really knew how old my mother was. But I know that some of the names that were important to my mother were names that she inherited from her mother. So some of the names of my heroines were from the Victorian age, hand-me-downs. What is a heroine? Well, a heroine to me is someone who's done a deed that I want to do. The deeds are like stars, twinkling stars in the sky. Each twinkle represents a deed that was done. This is my vision of it. And I want to capture the twinkles and gather them around me and pick a deed that I'd like to do and do better. Not performers. My little girl self, that was when I invented all this business about stars. I didn't invent it, I just found myself thinking like that. Well, I wanted to be a famous dancer, and I did not want to be like Martha Graham. I didn't want to be like Anna Pavlova. I didn't want to be like someone else. I wanted to do what they did, but do it better. Anyway, I knew Martha Graham, and I didn't like her. I thought Anna Pavlova was lovely, but I wanted more attack and more energy. And actresses I saw in movies whom I certainly admired, I didn't want to be like them. I wanted to do something that they couldn't do and do it better. That's competitive. I was competitive. I am competitive. Competition is part of becoming famous. Right now, who do I admire? I admire Hillary Clinton. I admire Michelle Obama. I admire Nancy Pelosi. And there are other women I admire for courage, for attempting outstanding things and almost achieving them or achieving them. And those women are Madeleine Albright, Christine Amanpour, Carol Burnett, Amelia Earhart, Cher, Whoopi Goldberg, Germaine Greer, Anita Hill, Mahalia Jackson, Rachel Maddow, Dinah Shore, Joan Rivers. Not for her face, because there was something about the inner woman that I admire. Okay. What do you do if you want to be famous? I say, think of fame as a green lawn, a bright green lawn in a huge stadium surrounded by people. The people are watching, but you're not aware of that. You're aware of all the women that are on that green lawn. Everybody's dressed in her finest outfit with the perfect hairdo, perfect makeup, things that they've worked on, perfect figure, things that they've worked on to make themselves look their very best. Some of them are meandering, some of them are strolling, some are just saying they're posing, some are running. And as you are there for a while, you look and you see the center has the prettiest, the most spectacular women, some that you really recognize. And as you approach, they're mostly between the ages of 20 and 40, and there isn't much room. You have to kind of wiggle your way in. And I'm saying, why? I'm saying, get off the damn lawn. If you want to be somebody famous, who? Go to a book, go to a painting, go to something, some life adventure that you read about or that was in your life that you remember, that touched you. Think about what that person did, that woman. Would you like to be like her? Would you like to do what she did? If the answer is yes, go for it. That's my advice. Get off the lawn and go for it. This is Emily Frankel for AI.R Broadcasting, signing off for tonight, but I'll see you next week with my husband, John Cullen.
This is AI.R. See you next week.